Welcome to the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Pluff. Each week, we will cover various topics that dads struggle with in their fitness journey. I'll give you actionable steps that you can apply right away, not only to take back control of your own health, but so you're able to be a better example for your kids too. So when you're trying to lose weight, one of the things that you don't want to do is to cut out all your favorite foods, especially right away. Now, obviously, if your favorite foods are cheeseburgers like me, or cheesecake, or candy, or things like this, obviously you're going to want to limit this, but it doesn't mean you have to cut them out altogether. Now, one thing I do to help track my food is I use my Fitness Pal. Now, what I do is instead of tracking it as I go, so say I go to a restaurant, and let's just say I go to a chain restaurant like Applebee's or something like that, and so their entire menu is online. I can go in and add everything after. What I do is I add everything beforehand, and so I'll put all my food in my Fitness Pal. So say I got a cheeseburger and fries. Let's just say that's roughly 1,200 calories. Well, if my calorie goal is 2,000 or 2,500 or wherever it was, now I know how much I have to play with the rest of the day. So the first thing I want to do is to make sure that I'm hitting my calorie goal. So if my calorie goal is set for 2,000, that's my number one priority. Number two is that I'm hitting my protein goals. So recommended amount of protein is you take your body weight. So we'll take 200, and we'll just take a 200-pound person. We'll just use that as our reference here. So we're going to take our body weight, multiply that by 15. So 200 times 15 would be 3,000 calories. That would be our maintenance calories. So if we ate at 3,000 calories, we know that we're going to stay roughly around 200 pounds. Now, in order to find how much you want to lose or find your calorie deficit, we don't want to go below about 75% of our maintenance. So 75% of 3,000 would be about 2,250. So 2,250 would be about as low as you'd want to go on a calorie deficit. You could go a little higher than this. I typically like to do about a 400 calorie deficit when I'm trying to cut. The reason is I like to maintain muscle. I'm not typically in a rush when I'm trying to lose weight. So 400 calorie deficit is doable for me. It allows me to eat a little bit more. Yes, I'm not going to lose weight as quickly, but it's much more enjoyable and I don't feel deprived. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to track my food beforehand. So if I know I'm going to Applebee's, I'm going to put that food in beforehand because I know that if I put it in after, then I'm most likely going to eat a little bit more than I typically would if I already have it planned out. So if I can account for my calories and my protein, then I have some room to play with some things. So say I want to eat a piece of cheesecake, and let's just say, for instance, that cheesecake is 300 calories. Well, now if my goal was 2,250, like we figured out there for if you're a 200-pound person for your calorie deficit there, we subtract 300 from that. Well, now we're at 1950. So for the rest of the day, I have 1,950 calories to play with there. So with those calories, we're going to make sure we hit our protein. And then once that's done, then we can kind of fill in some carbs and fat. Either way, whether you're going low carb or low fat, the research is pretty clear. Both work well. I typically like to have more carbs. I enjoy them more. But the number one thing is we're going to focus on our calories first and then protein second. So when you're trying to lose weight, when you're trying to cut out weight, the more you can control, the more discipline you have, the more freedom you're going to have later on. So if you want to enjoy things, if you don't want to cut out cookies, if you don't want to cut out Sour Patch Kids and things like that, then try and control everything else first. Make sure you're staying in that calorie deficit, you're hitting your calorie goal, you're hitting your protein goal, and then you're going to have a little bit more room to play with. And using things like My Fitness Pal is a great tool to accurately, or as accurately as you can, assess what you're actually doing. If you're taking pictures of your food as a food journal, or you're writing your food down, this is a great way to get started. But if you want more accurate results, we're going to need to invest in a food scale to make sure we know exactly how much we're eating. And then using a tracker, a free tracker such as MyFitnessPal, will help you get to where you want to go. That concludes this episode of the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. Thank you for those of you who took time out of your busy schedules to listen. If you have any questions or comments or an idea for a topic for a future episode, please feel free to reach out, and I'd love to hear from you.